If you think all camera phones take the same photos, think again. In 2026, the gap between point and shoot and pro-level gear is smaller than ever. We tested 6 of the best, from Xiaomi's 200-megapixel zoom monster to Sony's Alpha-style Xperia to Samsung's all-new Fold 7. Some crush low light, some nail 10x zoom, and one even feels like a real camera in your hand. Stick around, because number 1 might surprise you. Let's get into it. Number 6. Sony Xperia 1.7. The Sony Xperia 1.7 is the camera phone for people who already think like a photographer. Sony's not chasing megapixel wars, it's bringing alpha camera controls to your pocket. The triple setup is a 48-megapixel 1/1.35 main sensor, a 48-megapixel 1/1.56 ultra-wide, and a 12-megapixel continuous optical zoom from 85mm to 170mm, 3.5 to 7.1x. That variable telephoto is still unique in 2026. You get true optical zoom across the range instead of digital crop, and it doubles as a 4cm macro lens at 120. The ultra-wide got the biggest upgrade this year with a larger sensor, and it's arguably the best ultra-wide on a phone for stills. Less distortion, better low light. Where the Xperia shines is the app. Photo Pro and Video Pro mimic Sony's alpha menus, with IAF for humans and animals, real-time tracking, and manual controls that feel familiar if you've used an A7 IV. You get 4K 120 video on all 3 rear lenses, S-Cinetone color profiles, and 10-bit 422 output. For creators who edit their own footage, this is unmatched. The trade-off is point-and-shoot performance. Sony's processing is more traditional, with less aggressive HDR and noise reduction than Google or Samsung. Dynamic range isn't as wide, and the telephoto gets soft past 5x in low light. If you shoot JPEG and expect instant social-ready results, you'll be underwhelmed. At €14.99, it's expensive and niche, but if you want manual control, a physical shutter button, 3.5mm jack, and micro SD slot in 2026, nothing else comes close. Number 5. OnePlus 15. The OnePlus 15 takes a different approach to camera phones, speed and consistency over raw sensor size. OnePlus dropped Hasselblad branding and built its own Detail Max engine for 2026, focusing on fast capture and natural colors. The triple 50-megapixel setup covers wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto without any gimmicks. The main is a 50-megapixel Sony IMX906-1 1.56-inch sensor with f1.8 and OIS. It's smaller than rivals 1-inch sensors, but the Detail Max engine stacks multiple 12.5-megapixel frames to output 26-megapixel photos with better dynamic range and sharper detail. The 50-megapixel 3.5x periscope telephoto uses an ISOCELL JN5 sensor, and the 50-megapixel ultra-wide has autofocus for macro shots. Where it wins is shutter response. OnePlus optimized the camera for minimal lag, so it's excellent for street photography, kids, and pets. You can fire off shots quickly without missing the moment. Video is strong too. 4K 120 with Dolby Vision, 8K 30, and real-time LUT preview for log footage. Lens switching is smooth, and color stays consistent across all 3 cameras. Low light is the compromise. Smaller sensors mean OnePlus leans harder on noise reduction and longer exposure times, so it's a step behind the Xiaomi 17 Ultra or Vivo X300 Ultra in near-dark conditions. But for everyday use, it's reliable and fast. At $899, it undercuts the S26 Ultra and iPhone 17 Pro Max by $300 to $400, while offering better zoom versatility than the base models. If you want a fast, dependable camera phone without paying flagship plus prices, the OnePlus 15 makes sense. Number 4. Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 is the first Fold that doesn't feel like a compromise on cameras. Samsung finally gave it the 200-megapixel ISOCELL HP2 sensor from the S25 Ultra, and it changes the game for foldables. The triple rear setup is 200-megapixel main with f.17 and OIS, a 12-megapixel autofocus ultra-wide with macro support, and a 10-megapixel 3x telephoto. The 200-megapixel sensor defaults to 12-megapixel pixel bin shots for detail and low-light performance, but you can switch to full 200-megapixel if you want to crop heavily without losing clarity. Daylight photos are sharp, with Samsung's warmer color science making them pop on social media. Low light is much better than previous Folds thanks to the larger sensor and ProVisual Engine processing. The ultra-wide finally getting autofocus is a bigger deal than it sounds. It unlocks usable macro shots and sharper edge detail. The 3x telephoto is still the weakest link. It's fine for portraits and light zoom, but anything past 10x gets soft compared to OPPO or Xiaomi's periscopes. Where the Fold 7 pulls ahead is the overall package. At 215 grams and 4.2 millimeters unfolded, it's the thinnest and lightest Fold yet. The 8-inch main display and 6.5 cover screen are wider and more usable, and Galaxy AI features like Circle to Search and Live Translate were great on the big canvas. Battery is still 4,400 milliamp hours with 25-watt charging, so it's not class-leading there. If you want the most polished foldable that also takes flagship-level photos, the Z Fold 7 is it.
Number 3. Honor Magic V5. The Honor Magic V5 proves foldables no longer have to compromise on cameras. At 217 grams and 4.1 millimeters unfolded, it's the thinnest book-style foldable in 2026, but the camera module is still serious hardware. The triple rear setup covers all the bases. A 50-megapixel Sony IMX906 1/1.56-inch main sensor with f1.6 aperture and OIS, a 50-megapixel autofocus ultrawide with a 122-degree field of view, and a 64-megapixel 3x periscope telephoto using an OV64B sensor. That 3x lens is the standout. Most foldables stick to 2 to 2.5x, so having true 70mm reach with OIS makes portraits and distant subjects much more usable. Video goes up to 4K 60 with 10-bit HDR, and lens switching is smooth with consistent color science. Daylight photos are detailed and well-balanced, with Honor's AI processing handling HDR and skin tones cleanly. The ultrawide saw the biggest upgrade over the Magic V4, cutting down on the quality drop you usually get on foldables. Low light is competent, but not class-leading. Honor prioritizes faster shutter speeds to avoid blur, which means shots can come out darker than rivals like the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Where the V5 wins is consistency across both displays, stylus support, and IP58, IP59 dust and water resistance, rare for foldables. Paired with the Snapdragon 8 Elite, 5820 mAh silicon carbon battery, and 66W charging, it feels like a full flagship that happens to fold. If you want a foldable that doesn't feel like a second-best camera phone, the Magic V5 is it. Number 2. OPPO Find X9 Ultra. The OPPO Find X9 Ultra is built for one thing, making every zoom range feel like the main camera. OPPO's argument is that you shouldn't be forced to default to the 1x lens for quality, and the hardware backs it up. The quad-camera array leads with a 200-megapixel 1.112-inch Sony LYT901 main sensor at f1.5. It's paired with a 50-megapixel ultrawide, a 200-megapixel 3x periscope lens, and a 50-megapixel 10x periscope lens. That 200-megapixel 3x sensor is massive for a telephoto, 1.28 inches, larger than the main cameras on many flagships. The result is 3x shots with real depth, natural bokeh, and detail that holds up even when you crop in. The 10x lens uses a 50-megapixel sensor, and OPPO's quintuple prism reflection periscope structure. It can reach 20x with sensor crop while retaining usable quality. Consistency is the big win here. OPPO's Lumo image engine and Hasselblad tuning keep color and white balance aligned across all lenses, so blue skies and skin tones don't shift when you zoom. Video goes up to 8K 30 and 4K 120 across 1x to 10x with smooth lens switching and solid stabilization. Low light is strong thanks to large sensors and f1.5 aperture, though the ultrawide is the weakest link. Powered by Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 with a 7,050 mAh battery, it's heavy and expensive at around €1,699. But if zoom versatility and lens-to-lens consistency matter most, the Find X9 Ultra is the current benchmark. Number 1. Xiaomi 17 Ultra. The Xiaomi 17 Ultra is unapologetically a camera-first flagship, and it largely delivers on that promise for 2026. Xiaomi skipped the 1-inch main sensor trend and doubled down using a 50-megapixel 1.0 type Light Fusion 1050L sensor with low-fic HDR tech to handle extreme contrast without blowing highlights. Paired with a Leica-certified f1.67 lens, it pulls out detail and dynamic range that rival dedicated cameras, especially in low light. The real headline is the telephoto system. Xiaomi replaced 2 separate zooms with one mechanical continuous zoom covering 75mm to 100mm. It uses a 200-megapixel Samsung HPE sensor, giving lossless shots from 3.2x to 4.3x optical zoom with minimal light loss. That range is backed by Leica APO-certified optics designed to cut purple and green fringing in high-contrast scenes. The 50-megapixel ultrawide doubles as a macro lens with 5cm focus, rounding out a versatile setup. Beyond hardware, the optional photography kit turns the phone into a compact camera feel, a 2-stage shutter, dial controls, and a 2,000 milliamp grip. Video hits 8K 30 and 4K 120 with strong low-light performance thanks to the large sensors. Powering it is the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 with a 6,000 milliamp battery and 90-watt wired charging. If you want DSLR-like control and optical zoom flexibility in a phone, And that's our roundup of the best camera phones of 2026. Whether you want max zoom, pro controls, or just hit and shoot reliability, there's something here for you. If you want a detailed breakdown of low light tests and video scores, drop a comment and let me know which phone you want to see next. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more real-world camera tests. See you in the next one.